Hello again, everybody, and welcome to Gamecock Central Radio. Emerson Phillips with staff writer Collyn Taylor for an SEC baseball tournament report. Late night for the Gamecocks last night on the first day of the tournament in Hoover, Alabama. That's where Collyn joins us from today here on GCR. And Collyn, it was an 11:30 Eastern time start last night for the Gamecocks. I stayed up and watched every pitch, and the game ended at 2:42 by my watch, 2:42 a.m., and Carolina beat Missouri 4-2.
Yeah, and I think my head hit the pillow about 4 a.m. Eastern time, about 3 a.m. here in Hoover. So got a few hours of sleep, and now we get to go out and watch some more late night baseball.
Yeah, the Gamecocks
coming up
again have the late game tonight. Now we open the double elimination tournament. Now there are 8 teams left, and Carolina's got the last game of the day again, and they get the Arkansas Razorbacks. Carolina with the 4-2 win over Missouri last night in that late night contest. Missouri scored 2 runs in the 4th. The Gamecocks picked up 1 in the 5th when L.T. Tolbert led off with a double down the right field line. Hunter Taylor then singled to advance Tolbert to third, and Jacob Olson doubled to the right field gap to drive in Tolbert. So it was 2-1 Missouri until the 7th, and the Gamecocks scored 3 runs in the bottom of the 7th. Taylor singled up the middle. Olson walked. Noah Campbell singled to right to load the bases. Carlos Cortez then drew a walk, and that played it a run. Madison Stokes with a sac fly RBI, and Jonah Bride with an RBI single to left. 3 runs on 3 hits in the 7th for the Gamecocks. Carolina wins at 4-2. Good outing from Carmen Majinski. Collyn, 5 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 5 Ks, and the Gamecock bullpen appears to be getting stronger as the season goes on here. Eddie Demarius was the winning pitcher. He's now 6-0 on the year. And Graham Lawson picked up his second save, second solid outing in a row for Graham Lawson, who pitched extremely well in that win over Texas A&M last weekend.
Yeah, and I think that, from a pitching standpoint, that's exactly what South Carolina wanted. Carmen gave him probably his best start of the year, Kingston said, under the circumstances, just in terms of, he not knowing when the game was going to start, not knowing when to start his, pregame routine, and then gave him 3 perfect innings and only gave up, 2 earned there in the 4th. Struck out a couple of guys and looked good. I mean, obviously you shut the door with 3 really, really solid options from, Eddie Demarius came in, John Gilreath came in, and then obviously Graham Lawson shut the door. So that was really good to see. I think South Carolina liked that, and they'll obviously turn to their normal weekend rotation moving forward with Logan Chapman tonight, and then you would assume Adam Hill and Cody Morris following suit behind that, depending on how things go.
Collyn, last night's game originally scheduled to start at about 9 o'clock, but we had a rain delay in the first game yesterday in Hoover, and as is always the case at the SEC baseball tournament, the last game of the day went off late. In this case, it was unusually late, and I think we were all interested to see how Majinski would respond, getting the start in a bit of an unusual circumstance for him and for the team. And he came out dealing last night, man. He was hitting 95 on the gun in the first inning.
Yeah, and when he's locked in, he's probably one of the best freshman pitchers, maybe in the SEC, just because he's got some good sink to his fastball. His slider's really good. It's in the low to mid 80s, and when he can mix those pitches really well, he's darn near unhittable. And you saw that through the first 3 innings. Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning. So I think if they can get more out of that from him, especially out of the bullpen, in the NCAA tournament coming up, I think that's nothing but big. And I think that last night really did a lot for his confidence in terms of being able to come in and provide some meaningful innings for South Carolina moving forward.
Baseball report here with Collyn Taylor. I'm Emerson Phillips on Gamecock Central Radio. Gamecocks in Hoover for the SEC baseball tournament beat Missouri 4-2 last night to advance to the final 8 teams, and we're now into double elimination. So, Collyn, the Gamecocks are 33-22 heading into tonight's action against the Arkansas Razorbacks, ranked 8th in the country in the latest D1 baseball poll. And Arkansas, having a fine year, Collyn. They're looking at a top 8 national seed. And I'm wondering, do they need to do a little bit more work to shore up that top 8 national seed, or do you think they've already got it locked in?
I think it's pretty locked in. Arkansas's got a lot of good RPI. They're number 4 right now in the RPI. They've pretty much locked it down. I mean, obviously a win tonight against South Carolina, who's number 29 in the RPI right now, doesn't hurt. But I think that Arkansas is going to host, and it's probably going to lock up at least a 6, 7, or 8 national seed after this tournament.
pitching matchups for tonight's game announced here on Wednesday afternoon. We just got the announcement not long ago that it'll be Logan Chapman, the freshman right-hander for the Gamecocks. He's from Liberty, South Carolina. And it'll be Kacey Murphy, the junior left-hander for Arkansas. 6-4 with a 2.78 ERA for Murphy, 67 Ks, 13 walks in 74 innings pitched this year. So very good strikeout to walk ratio. And Murphy named to the SEC All-Tournament team last year. So he's the Saturday starter, typically for Arkansas. And Chapman has been an interesting pitcher this year for the Gamecocks, Collyn, because, he came in to the Arkansas series back in April, which, by the way, was the last SEC series that the Gamecocks lost. Carolina won 5 in a row in SEC play, 5 series in a row coming into Hoover. So the Gamecocks were the hottest team in the league coming into the tournament. And Logan Chapman got his first start as the Thursday night starter or Friday night starter. It was a Thursday night game against Arkansas. But Chapman started the first game of the Arkansas series back on April 12th. And that's when the Gamecocks starting pitching rotation took firm shape, Collyn. Chapman pitched extremely well that night, 4 innings, 7 hits, 2 runs, 2 Ks, 2 walks, and the Gamecocks beat Arkansas 3-2.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what started the Logan Chapman's development into a guy that can give this team some meaningful innings, and you saw it against LSU, and you saw it somewhat against A&M, other than some defensive plays, but he's been really good, and it'll be interesting to see how he does on short rest again this week after getting moved up a day. So it's back-to-back weeks he's been moved up. So it'll be interesting, but the kid's a competitor, and I know he wants the ball, and he's going to go out there and give you everything he has, regardless of how he's feeling or whatnot. So I expect him to come out and compete and try to throw his off-speed stuff for strikes and then overpower him with his fastball. But I think what I've been most impressed with in terms of Logan is he's the guy, I think he's the best on the team in pitching out of jams. Where you've seen it at times with Adam Hill and you've seen it at times with Cody Morris, but for the most part, the most consistent guy that's been able to get out of jams with runners on and less than 2 outs has been Logan Chapman, and you saw that in that start against Arkansas. I think he got out of a bases loaded 1-out jam with a double play, and he's been able to pitch around some runners. So that's what I've been most impressed with him, and I think you're going to see that Sunday night too.
So back on April 12th, that Gamecock win 3-2 at Arkansas's Baum Stadium. Sawyer Bridges worked 2 2/3 scoreless innings in relief. He was actually the winning pitcher, and Eddie Demarius got the save. So it's Logan Chapman getting the start for the Gamecocks tonight at the SEC baseball tournament in Hoover. 3-2, the record for Chapman with a 4.84 ERA, 52 Ks, 29 walks, and 57 2/3 innings. And Chapman will make his 14th start of the season. So, Collyn, it's going to be another late night. Might be 11:30 Eastern time before we get this game underway again tonight.
Yeah, and it's Auburn and Ole Miss are playing as we talk right now, and they're getting into the late stages. But we got a whole other game to go through before South Carolina can even begin to warm up. So get your coffee ready, take a little afternoon power nap if you want to stay up and watch it. But if not, we'll have all your coverage on Gamecock Central in the morning when you wake up. That way you can read it. I
suspect a lot of folks missed last night's game against Missouri due to the late start time, late finish time. I talked to Kip Balknight earlier today, who joins us here on Gamecock Central Radio to talk baseball each week, and he said that he fell asleep, but he woke up and watched the last 3 innings. So he woke up at like 1:30 in the morning and then caught the last 3 innings of the game. I watched every pitch last night. I'm a big fan of live sports on television at odd hours of the day, so that was right in my wheelhouse last night, Collyn, and it will be again tonight. So we're looking forward to South Carolina and Arkansas tonight. Collyn, if you're a college baseball fan and you've got 5 or 6 hours free tonight, great night to watch the SEC Network, because we've got Florida and LSU, a rematch of last year's College World Series Championship Series preceding the South Carolina-Arkansas game. So we got 2 great matchups tonight in Hoover.
Yeah, it should be a fun one. I'm not sure who they're starting, but Florida always has a great rotation. LSU's got some arms they can throw out there that have looked good. I'm guessing Michael Hilliard's going to pitch for them because Zach Hess did yesterday. So should be some power pitches on the mound, and those games always never disappoint. LSU always brings a big crowd. So excited to watch a little bit of that one once I get to the park today and relax a little bit before the late show tonight.
LSU always plays well in Hoover. They really seem to turn it on in Hoover, this time of year, every year. And it'll be interesting to see how Florida bounces back or how they respond after getting swept by Mississippi State in the last weekend of the regular season just this past weekend. So Florida and LSU in the first meeting of the year between those two after they played for the College World Series championship last year, won by Florida. And then we'll have South Carolina and Arkansas. It's double elimination time at the SEC Tournament in Hoover, Alabama. And staff writer Collyn Taylor joining us today for a report here on Gamecock Central Radio. Thank you, Collyn.
Thanks for having me on.
That's Collyn Taylor, and I'm Emerson Phillips, and this is Gamecock Central Radio. We'll be back with more Gamecock baseball talk here on GCR. Thanks for joining us.